And we're back here at Boom and Bust. My guest is Meseret Haileyesus. She is the director of the Canadian Centre for Women's Empowerment. And Meseret, I just wanted to talk a little bit more. You mentioned financial institutions. They're very central. You've mentioned some other stakeholders too, like phone companies and so on. But these are the essential building blocks of having any independence in our society, right? That's why you're focusing in on them and how they can help. Is that right?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes. So from our recent study, from our research, we found that financial institutions, including bank, credit unions, and other private stakeholders, they were not helpful for survivors of gender-based violence. That's our study, actually, we found even in the pandemic. So we know that the Canadian banks, they have an amazing program for senior financial abuse out there and also for many marginalized community. So specifically when you come to gender-based violence, I know the issue is very complex, but still our women have a challenge and struggle to access some of the service out there. So right now, what we do in the organization, we established a national task force. We invited a lot of bank leaders and experts just to discuss about this issue and to come up with some solution. So one of the solutions we propose is like to introduce such program in the bank. So that would be very important because what we have seen when a woman flee abusive situation, they don't call to the police right away. They don't call to family members. They don't flee to the shelter. So what they do is they want to make sure if they have a good amount of money, sometimes they talk to their bank. So if we could train like the frontline employees in the bank, so women, they could have a safe and then trauma-informed customer service so that like that relationship and trust will be built. So that's how we meet right now. So we are asking the banks to come up with some program. We have expertise and information and everything. And the other thing is also we are asking Canadian Bank to have a product for these women. Imagine I'm in shelter. I may have a visa. I may not work for 2-3 months. If I don't pay the minimum payment for 2 months, definitely my bank account would be suspended. So imagine if I want to use an Uber, definitely I need my credit card. So unfortunately, some women, they were not even eligible to have their credit card. So that really keeps women not to use their economic resources. If you want to go back to school, definitely you have to pay the registration fee. Everything is on credit card. So we are asking the bank if they could have some program, because we have seen in Australia and in United Kingdom, they have an amazing program for those women stay in shelter. So that's how our advocacy at this point. And the other aspect is, of course, is like the banks also, they should come up with some program for specific those women. At the end of the day, they are their customers. Some women, they may have a mortgage, if we have like a healthy woman, a healthy family, those who contribute to the economy at the end of the day, the bank would also be profitable. So we had a call to action last year, definitely will continue, but we have seen that a lot of banks also, they recognize this issue. Yes, it's an issue, but we need more action at this point.
Right. So the reaction is they're just starting to get a handle on it, and you'd like to see some action. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. We need those action. Of course, we also develop different policy recommendation, including for Financial Consumer Agency Canada. So we want to see that policy recommendation translated into action. So that's our call to action for all Canadian banks,
Right. And the same with phone companies, I think you were mentioning too.
Yeah, for the phone companies, still we are working on how we could approach them. And then, if they could have a special plan, sustainable, special and equitable plan for women. So that's also a huge part of this work. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're going to have independence, you do need a smartphone in today's society. That's basically your conclusion, right?
Yes, yeah, correct. And also not only the smartphone accessing, but the plan. Sometimes I may not have money to pay, like, my internet. Of course, there is a discount plan out there. I know some companies also, they show their solidarity and support in the pandemic, which is fantastic, but it has to be continuous and sustainable for all women across Canada.
Right. And are you making some progress on that front yet?
Not yet. So that's our 2020 plan. So still we're kind of collecting information and, resources. Unfortunately, one of our challenges, we don't have any data on economic abuse. We just working right now. Hopefully, like next year, we'll come up with some program, and then of course, amazing data. That's how we envision. Yeah.
We're going to continue our discussion with Meseret Haileyesus on economic abuse of women in our society. Very interesting discussion, very practical solutions that Meseret and her organization are suggesting as well. Please stay with us. We've got one more segment to go. We'll be right back after these messages.